In 3, 2, 1, go. And we once again have our nice game 2 of the finals. Over on the Nexus side of things, Team Orange, we're going to see It's a Ray on the Kwong, and we're going to see Sergeant Floppy rocking the Obsidian Rampage this time around. They're all getting their wards out while they can. Nerf Mundo is on the Aegis Steel, Klinghoffer on Master Murdoch, and Hudsey is going to be on the Gadget.
And on Carbon EU, we have Blood Mordius on that Grux, Yon Mikey on that Howitzer, Undead on the Twin Blast, Shaden on the Narbash, and Rustress on this Greystone. I mean, I'd like to point out that Carbon EU did not start with 5 sets of wards. They started with only 3, I believe, and then they swapped out 3 with 2 of the guys not grabbing any wards. Whereas on Nexus, all 5 of them had a ward that they deleted and then bought other cards with. So they're going to have you can just see the vision difference between the 2 teams right now.
Yeah, definitely will be the case. So both teams have, Team Nexus did an excellent job of warding up any sort of pathway from their jungle. We have no wards coming out of Carbon this time at all, aside from the one over by the green buff side towards the black buff in the river. And nothing too crazy going on. They're going to go for a more passive start than we've seen the past few games. Blood Mordius jumping right on top of his green buff as soon as the game starts. Meanwhile, we have Steel helping out the Rampage on his, so we can get a bit of a faster clear earlier on, which he definitely does need maybe a little of assistance with. You know, Rampage's clears aren't exactly the greatest in the world.
He's got the healthiest clear, but not the quickest. He needs that jump to be able to do a little bit of AoE damage along with that rock, and it's already been zoned out from this farm. It's pretty standard for the offlaner. You're gonna get bullied, and Shaden just not letting him get any farm that he needs.
If anyone's wondering, if you're just tuning into this now, this is the Paragon C series. It's an EU tournament. It will be open to other people further on, but right now it was an invitation only. So we invited 6 teams to participate in this, so we can get the tournament all organized, all proper, and have everything go nice and smooth as much as possible, despite everything working against us today, as it did. Comcast just went out completely. That was fun. And the next one's going to be invitational. It will be an open tournament, so NA teams will be able to join. So you might be able to see your Reborns, your Grim Gamings, your Rat Packs. They may want to participate in this, or you can make your own team. You just got to remember, you'll probably be playing on EU servers. That's the key to this. This is an EU organized tournament. So.
And again, it looks like it's a bit of a stalemate. I mean, Blood is trying to get this gank on its array, but again, the vision control means that It's Array has already spotted Blood walking through that ward. And he's not going to be pushing out anytime soon.
And the same thing is going on in the left lane. Sergeant Floppy throws a rock through the shadow wall and actually managed to land a hit onto Rustress and his Greystone. But just a bit of a farm lane going on right now. Hopefully Blood Mordius will be able to get his gank off that he's looking for, and he's walking in now under the minions. He's going to, instead of going onto It's Array, there's the smashing grab. Shadow's taking the turret damage. It's Array throws out the Kwong Sword and tethers them under the tower. They're not going to take any real damage from it. They're going to go for round 2. Undead Pilot starting to maybe poke out. No, he does not. He gets the tower, and there we have our first tower of the game going down for Carbon EU. Those early towers. Always interesting to see how they play out.
They get that tower in the early stages of the game, which is going to give them that extra lead. But are we going to see a rotation flip out? Also, by the way, just a note, the dots on the overlay are saying the incorrect teams who've got the wins. We might need to have a quick look at that.
Yeah, that is the case. Do we have the second game for the third place coming in through, or is that already gone? Is that Dunzo?
Third place has already won. We already know who's won that. Okay. It was Oxygen who won 2-1, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay. And Klinghoffer's now applying pressure to the tower.
And again, looking at card points, not much of a lead here. The tower is going to help them a little bit, but still pretty even across the board. People just grabbing those early game wards and their Madstone gems, just trying to complete those.
Early game items are starting to come out now. River Buff has spawned once again. It's going to be a black buff. We're going to see that going to Klinghoffer as Steel throws his shield wall out to make sure that they're not going to steal that one. Steel, shield, steel. Say that 5 times fast. Make sure you cover that one.
Steel, shield, wall.
Steel, shield, shield. Undead Pilot. Undead Pilot's going to be picking up the Raptor already. You know, some really early Raptor. You don't see them taken so quickly. Yo, I'm Mikey bouncing Sergeant Floppy out from under his tower. There goes the smash and grab from Blood. Morty just out of range. Not going to be able to snag that one. And so that is going to be a Raptor in favor of them. No kills. Over in the solo lane, though, we have Russ just being able to push out from under his tower. Now that he's at level 5, he's able to actually flex a bit of muscle towards the enemy team. It's Array awfully close to Blood Mortius right now. Blood Mortius doing what he can to just take as much farm from It's Array, making sure he's not going to be able to level up or catch any sort of real CP advantage in his off lane right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, I'm liking the fact that they switched their duo lane around. It allows them to just get that farm they need. I mean, it's again that awkward point where we have no real strong advantage. Towers are incredibly tricky to take down unless you use like 3 or 4 people with a large wave, which is quite a huge commitment. So you need to guarantee you get a kill. Rush just has hit level 5, so he's going to be hard to actually kill right now, especially under a tower.
Yeah.
So they're going to be trying to find these jungle fights, I suspect, the most.
Well, yeah, it's been a pretty quiet game in comparison to the last few we've seen. Only a couple kills. 3, no kills being brought out. No kills being brought out right now. But we do have a tower being down. They changed the scoreboard around. I'm used to seeing kills first, but they changed it around probably for psychology reasons. Because when you see kills first, you're like, oh, important. Now it's towers first. Oh, objectives. Epic's smart. They're in your head, guys. They know it. They know what's up.
It is all about the objectives, but the river buffs haven't been much of a fighting point. I really like to see river buffs start fights a lot more. I think the way they can do that is not make them die in about 1 or 2 hits, is being my honest opinion. Make them a bit stronger and make them similar to a camp. So you have to sit there and hit it for a while. That way you can force a lot more engagements and fights throughout the game and force these early games, and it can deal with the sort of lull that we have in the mid game.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty quiet. That mid-game lull is always interesting to watch. We saw Nexus actually manage to make a very successful transition in that second game of their semifinals. From their advantage, they just transitioned it right over into that early tier 2 tower. They just had, like Array said, when we interviewed him, he said we had the confidence to do it, so we did it. When you're nervous, it's going to be a little harder to do, and you might make a mistake. So if you have the confidence behind it, then might be able to pull it off more successfully, mind over matter sort of situation.
It's having confidence in that you can win the 2v2 and that your solo laner will actually be better off. Because you have to remember, by doing that, you potentially put your solo laner at a disadvantage. But if you're confident, he can still stay equal in a lane that should be disadvantaged for him, and go for it. I think it's correct decision for them to do.
We are see Team Carbon trying to secure another Raptor, so that's going to bring Undead Pilot up even further right now. If you look at the ADCs right now, Undead Pilot's at 12 points, Klinghoffer's at 12, so they are even, but that's going to bring Undead Pilot up to 13 card points right now, so he has a wee bit of advantage. He's going to decide to start clearing out the rest of his jungle, get some extra farm. Meanwhile, Rusters is still doing a good job keeping them off the tower. He's jumping on top of the enemy team. They're not 5 yet, so he has a little bit of free time. Gets steel charged by Nerf Mundo, and he's going to lose his ultimate. He might actually go down in this favor if he's not able to do anything significant here. Klinghoffer will back off, and that will be the safe engage. Over by the jungle right now, Blood Mortius and Sergeant Floppy are starting to squabble a little. So we're starting to see our team fights as the teams are starting to feel safely confident with their farm and their game. We'll see maybe a little bit of blood. How it's been working the past few games, Gems, as we've noticed, is it's been quiet for about 5, 6, whatever minutes, and then just 14 fights all over the map.
Yeah, no one wants to take the fight unless they see someone else making a mistake. It's the sort of, like I've mentioned before, game of chicken. You're going to keep running as close as you can to each other until someone decides to, pull the trigger. And the team that pulls the trigger doesn't necessarily win a lot of the time, which is kind of the next problem. Yeah. You'll pull the trigger, then you'll get counter-engaged on and completely lose a fight that looked to be in your favor. So, Klinghoffer is going to grab this tower, is going to get this rotation. He's probably going to recall, grab the gold, maybe grab a couple of white camps along the way.
I've been...
And
Go ahead.
It's a bit like a lull, like as I mentioned, 15 card points Klinghoffer on that Murdoch and Undead.
Oh, Nerfmundo going in with the shield, with the steel slam, and he's not going to be able to secure any kill. We have Klinghoffer trying to follow up with an ultimate, but he's going to miss that one slightly to the right of Yo Mikey after he ults to the top of the map. And that is going to be 2 ultimates down for no kills. We're still 0-0 and 0. We're nothing but farm right now, which
no team wants to go for that tower dive yet. Each team has managed to take that tier 1 down, and the river buffs, as I mentioned, aren't that big of a point of contention right now. Whoever's there at the time seems to just get them. They provide a small advantage for too short of a time, so it's no real reason to give away those buffs. I mean, you just give them away, you wait 40 seconds under your tower, they can't do much with it, you carry on.
Bloodmorius is picking up the blue buff and the black buff right now. He managed to auto-attack the ward once, and you gotta see the black buff do its work on that one. He's also gonna get the green buff, so he's gonna be nice, fat, and all buffed up. He should probably want to use this advantage as soon as possible before he loses anything. Instead, he's gonna keep on farming. So we have more farm going on in this game. More CS. So much CS.
It's gonna be a fun. That's the thing. Again, looking at we've already gotten Honor the Pure on Nerfmundo. His second item back, 13 points. He has already got that Honor the Pure. That extra health is going to be incredibly useful in the early stages of these fights. He's going to be able to ult in and get it. And they're trying to push this tier 1 tower on this left. Rush just is going to try to do his best to clear the waves, but it's going to be a bit tricky.
Bloodmorius dashes in on top of Klinghoffer, gets the smash and grab and the clap on top of Klinghoffer's running out with barely no health, but Rush just jumps right on top of him, storms the gate on top of his head. And now we have Sergeant Floppy ulting just to try and disengage as the team's starting to look to get in and join the fight. There is the rock from the Rampage, gonna dissuade them from following up. And they do manage to get a kill and save the tower. But, you know, things work out in their favor. Meanwhile, in the far lane right there, it's Array currently trying to stop a siege himself. Shadon goes for the crash bang boom. He gets it off. And Undead Pilot falls up with his own triple shot. The grenade blows up Array. And that will be dead. Maybe a tower in their favor.
Incredibly well done to Undead Pilot and Shaden in that duo. Hopefully they can secure this tower, but card points wise, getting that kill on Undead is probably the most important part they could have asked for.
Yeah, definitely. And we even had a little bit of fun going on in the left lane. Sergeant Floppy and Nerfmundo trying to farm up as much as possible. Hudsy's now chasing down Undead Pilot. He goes to seek and destroy. Will not manage to get so. It'll be off the mark. The slow will not hit. We had the Klinghoffer on his Murdoch go for the long arm of the law. Will also just barely miss.
Incredibly close. Undead a bit low taking that camp. Going a little bit close.
You know, 86 health, no big deal.
A few more hits and
action
just everywhere.
Over on in the lane, there was a collapse onto the orange team, and that's going to be 2 people down. We have both Hudsy and Klinghoffer going down. So the kills are starting to come out ever so slightly.
It's all on Carbon EU right now. They've got that advantage with those 4 kills with this composition again.
Oh my god, all these kills coming off from all over the map right now. And we have Sergeant Floppy, or no, we have Bloodmorius going down this time right now. Score is now 4-1-5 in favor of Carbon. So all those little skirmishes we're seeing coming out now that we were talking a minute ago. No fighting for 15 minutes and then fight.
It's because they got to that point where they feel like they can get a tower or they want to take into the jungle because they've seen an opportunity. But the thing is, it's incredibly risky. So a lot of people go for the low risk reward, sort of low risk, high reward play. When they see someone back, then they'll go with the numbers advantage into that. But even then, because how quickly they can get back into the game with the jump portal, the jump pads and things like that, it can be still a risk. I mean, if they don't get that kill, if the enemy team manages to stall out long enough, it can turn on their heads.
So Carbon does manage to secure both river buffs this time. We have a bit of a farm fest going on in the left lane for its Array and his other teammates over there. They might be looking to take Raptors now, as Russ just decides to clear a ward out for his team at the Raptor camp. Nexus is starting to roam over there. They might they're looking to reward. Instead, they're going to just punch out that Scout's ward. There is a Shadow ward not too far behind him. Carbon doing a very good job with their ward game so far, keeping nice vision in the jungle so they know the pathings of Nexus at this time. So they're really showing a stronger game this time around than the last game, playing more precautiously.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And even Rustress have also gone for that early game on of the pure. Both like sort of the Bruiser fighters have managed to get the early game on of the pures. Shadow Scroll coming out on Blood.
Oh, Nerfmundo going in with his Steel Slam, and that's going to land right on Shadow's head as Klinghoffer follows up with his own ultimate. Makes it rain from Howitzer. Yo and Mikey trying to zone out for the team. Won't be enough. Shadow goes down. It's Array follows up with his own ultimate. Blood Mortius goes for a smash and grab, picks it up on to the enemy, and will actually smash and grab 3 of them inside of the pull for the double pain. Russ just losing his own ultimate right now. Sergeant Floppy under the tower with the Rampage ult, trying to disengage on that one. They decide to go on the tower and actually commit to the fight. Undead Pilot at full health. The rest of the team, not so much. Blood Morty is going to go down for the tower. If they re-engage, this could be it. Klinghoffer picks it up. And now there's the miniguns being bursted out from Klinghoffer, but Undead Pilot, he doesn't want to get too close to the enemy team. Even though they are as low as they are, they could probably pick up some more kills if they actually stuck to it.
They can't risk it again. I mean, if Nexus do just recall here and recuperate, get their mana back, they don't have a big enough wave to actually take the tier 2. Backing out is the safer option. It allows them to just get undead on this Raptor right now.
Yeah.
So he's going to grab this Raptor. Going to hopefully grab a bit of experience for himself. Taking quite a bit of damage.
Won't be able
risky
to.
For him.
Yeah, he decides not to. He's going to go to the jungle camp instead, just for the safety. He used a bump juice at the start there just to get it back, his health back up, but he doesn't have the lifesteal really sustained through that right now.
No, he really does need that lifesteal before he can do it, and he's only got 7.5%. He needs double that right now, to be honest, before he can do that with ease, with a bit more damage as well, so he can do it quicker. Again, not many Honor of the Pures coming out, no many Blinks coming out still, even in the early stages of the game, still none of those, apart from the ones we've already mentioned, so Nerfmundo and Rushed. And card points-wise,
everyone's pretty even.
Except for Undead, who's a couple of points ahead. I mean, apart from that, sitting, what, 20, 22, 22, 23, 22, not too much of a difference in terms of power levels. It's going to be a game of who can catch the other person out, who can get this vision controlled, and try and get the advantage right now. Because whoever gets it now can most likely take control of this game.
Yeah, definitely is the case. Not seeing a lot of Raptors being involved in this game. You know, it's a bit of a risky pick if they get caught out in the right spot. Those Raptors still do a lot of damage. Team is starting to roll over to the right side of the map. They do know that Rustress on the Greystone is left side client trying to protect the tower and clear it out. You know, even though it is low, they still have a tower there to protect it just from minions to buy them that little bit of extra time to go over there. I'm surprised.
Nothing much
yeah,
really happening in mid lane. Like, they had a chance to potentially go on Blood, but again, you can't risk it because if they get counter engaged on, they got 2 guys in right lane, and if there's 4 there, then they're gonna just give up that mid fight as well.
Sergeant Floppy throwing a rock right in Shadon's face. There's the tether. Are they going to go for it? He does. It's Array goes for the ultimate. Shadon falls up. The crash bang boom just to save his own life in a bit of a panic. Does not manage to get anyone with it. He's going to go down. That's going to be a pickup from Klinghoffer once again, getting yet another kill.
Again, Rush just pushed that wave as well, but they are going to potentially... They could lose that tier 2. That is a pretty hefty wave. I mean, it's probably going to take some damage, but it's most likely going to be okay. But it is something they have to keep in the back of their mind right now.
Yeah, they either get the tier 1 or take some damage, or they back off and try and save it. There's really no in between. There looks like they're going to try and commit to it. There goes Nerfmundo for a big ultimate, lands right on top of Rustress and Undead Pilot. Undead Pilot walks right out of there. Blood and Mortius now going to go down. Nerf Mundo tanking the tower. Rustress with the Greystone ult does pop it off. He slows the enemy team, but they're not going to be able to actually take any damage from that turret. They will get out. So no turret, but they do actually still get the... they get a kill, more or less. The turret actually managed to stay alive at the T2 in the left lane, and nothing really, no real consequences out of that one. They got a kill for free.
It's just a kill. It allows Kling to catch up to Undead Pilot right now. He's only like a point behind in terms of CXP sitting at 29, and that's kind of where it's going to be about. I mean, they elected to give away the Twin Blast pick for this Murdoch, and we haven't been able to see the full potential of the Wombo combo with the Long Arm of the Law. I feel like they could have had the option as well to still take Twin Blast and just more deny it from Undead, because we've seen Undead do incredibly well on this Twin Blast, and he's still doing it right now. He's out farming everyone yet again on this Twin Blast.
He's done really, really, really good with his farm right now. So we have Klinghoffer backing right now, and he's going to spend his points. He has 7 points to spend. He's just going to pick up, I believe, another Madstone gem. No, he got it. I think he got a Brand of the Iron Eater. So he's got a little lifesteal now. He's sitting on lifesteal, a Sage's Ward, 2 micro nukes, and a Madstone gem.
Again, really strong builds. Brand of the Iron Eater as well from Klinghoffer and from Undead. So they both got that lifesteal. So that now opens up the opportunity for Orb Prime a lot more. Orb Prime is now a dangerous topic for both teams.
Yeah.
They can both set up that up. They can both have a carry sitting on there with lifesteal, hitting away at it in secret.
It looks like they tried to maybe poke out the Raptors just a little bit, but they saw the enemy team very close by, decided to peel off of that one instead for the safer pick. Right lane is pushing against Team Nexus right now, so they're probably going to have Klinghoffer go over there to fix that wave and clean it up, get it back set, so they can then engage on another team fight and maybe get a couple kills.
Again, no one wants to risk any of these fights. Everyone wants to have the ideal scenario set up for them. They want to set up their waves. They want to try and get this fight in.
Sergeant Floppy goes to throw a rock to maybe get a stun off on Yo and Mikey. Lands it. Blood Mortius is right behind him. Steel gets himself caught out. Hudzy picks up a kill on Yo and Mikey and Undead Pilot. That's going to be really big. Shadon gets a kill on Nerf Mundo. The rock goes out from the Rampage as Shadon abandons the rest of his team to run away and save the day. Save what he can. Just leaves them for dead, more or less. And that's going to be a big pickup in favor of Team Nexus. They're going to try and push down this turret once again.
Just completely took that fight. He managed to take out Undead Pilot, and it allowed for Nerf Mundo just to stay a lot there. And they're going to...
This seems like it's going to be a tier 2.
Push for this inhib.
Yeah, they're going to get their tier 2. The inhib, maybe everyone's going to be up. They'll be able to get the tier 2 for sure, knocking that nice map pressure off the map once again. But they need to go back, and they need to set their waves. They're going to get the river buffs just in case, so they have the opportunity to knock those off the map. Meanwhile, Klinghoffer is roaming around. He's going to take the ward out. Boom, boom. If he can land an auto attack on the ward. And he's going to roll over to the left lane and clear that farm out.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, to be honest, right now for Carbon. After losing that fight, it's allowed Klinghoffer to be even now with Undead Pilot. And you can see the card points across the board are still pretty even. I mean, I hate saying it, but it's pretty tricky this game to get a huge advantage unless you're completely dominating another team. You can get a couple of points here and there. The main difference you can see across teams is usually on the carries.
Definitely will be the case. If we look at card points right now, well, we have a minute to do so. Look at card points of build. Undead Pilot and Klinghoffer are actually dead even in points. Klinghoffer having more kills and more assists, but Undead Pilot just squeaking barely ahead in CS. So that's keeping, and he has about as many towers. So they're able to keep up and farm equal, and both their builds are roughly the same. Undead Pilot opting for a 10-point micro-nuke instead of the 6-point builds. Over in the left lane right now, we do have a big wombo combo coming out. Nerf Mundo getting a shield slam on top of Undead Pilot. Shadon now caught out, trying to heal himself up, using the Auto of the Pure to save his own life. But he runs right into Klinghoffer, who shotguns him right in the mouth. He's now unstoppable, and these are those Raptor boys.
That is exactly what we've been talking about. When they get those picks by invading the enemy jungle, by catching people out, is when you can see these huge spikes in power. Now, I suspect Klinghoffer, after these Raptors, is going to be substantially ahead in card points. He's sitting at 38 right now. He's already 2 points ahead just from that one fight.
The river buff is now, both river buffs are off, and we do have one of the teams picking that up. I believe the Greystone got one? Not too sure who got it. Someone snuck a buff in the meantime, and Sergeant Floppy picks up the other one on the other side of the map. We have Hudsy right now clearing out the jungle, making sure that Amberlink gets nice and full, and there it is. Look at that big orange orb in the back right there, boys.
It's going incredibly well for them. I mean, they're going to probably get this last remaining tier 1 right now on this left side by pushing this wave. It's a free tier 1. I doubt there's going to be any real contention for this. I mean, they've managed to get the Raptors, they've managed to get a couple of kills, they've gotten a slight advantage in leads. They're going to try and repeat the same process they just did before. Try get some vision in the enemy jungle, try set up potentially around this orb or de-ward around this orb so you give the enemy a bit more of a risky play when coming to check if anything is happening.
Definitely is the case. Just so if anyone's tuning in now, welcome to the PCS finals. Just, you know, do our routine checkup. I'm GeronimoJak. My co-caster here is Gems. How's it going, Gems? You can't wave. I see you on Skype. You can't wave at the camera. They don't see that.
I'm waving to you.
Well, okay, well, hi. How's it going?
It's been going great today. To be honest, I'm just like, I want to see aggressive plays. I enjoy aggressive plays.
I want to see action.
I love clown fiestas.
I love the clown fiestas.
I love the clown fiestas. They're like the best things in the world to cast. It's just everything's happening everywhere. No sense of organization. But these teams are too organized for that right now. There's hardly been any of that sort of gameplay where people are just running around trying to kill each other. It's been extremely organized play from both teams right now.
If you're wondering what, I see a couple of people in chat are looking for what the PCS is. It's a European tournament put together by a lot of the players who are actually playing this tournament. They wanted to have, oh my god, the blink and the ult from the Steel Big Dick plays coming straight out, followed by the Honor of the Pure Blood. Mortius did not even see that one coming. He gets picked off by Klinghoffer. That was huge. Holy lord. I need to smoke.
I wanted to see aggressive. I do this all the time. I predict what's going to happen by accident.
By accident, yeah. So they're going to re-engage on that fight. Sergeant Floppy was at low health, but he ults and decides to jump right in. Rustrous losing his ultimate over a bit of a silly engage. Shadon following in now with the crash bang boom. Funks Klinghoffer right in the head. Not going to be enough as the sticky bomb goes on top of the Narbash. And Sergeant Floppy scrapes away the last bit of the poor Narbash's life. Shrek. Poor Shrek. No chance at all.
Yeah, he's a bit. This is the issue again we've been raising with Bash the other day. If he goes too far forward, that's pretty much it. He's done right there. He's no real way of running away apart from that move speed buff that he has, but a stun or two completely negates it.
Yeah. So as we were saying, the PCS, it's made by the European members of the Paragon community. They wanted to have their own tournament hosted on the EU side of things, so they didn't have to deal with all of our silly NA times. And they did that, so now we get to deal with their silly EU times if you want to participate. So this first tournament is an invitational only, but the next ones will be open to anyone. So NA teams can sign up, Oceania teams can sign up. You just got to remember that you will be playing on EU servers 90% of the time, if at all possible. It will be an EU-based tournament. It's been a lot of fun hosting this so far. If you guys haven't checked out the Matcherino, !donate. Last time we checked, it was at $650.
Yeah, it's been incredible the amount of support people have been showing for these guys. I'm just hoping we can get that even higher for these guys. They completely deserve it. They've been playing incredibly well, and it still looks really tough for both teams. I mean, Carbon completely have a chance to still claw this back. All it takes is one Orb Prime throw. And it's been shown that can happen quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot. Orb, I don't even like doing Orb Prime anymore in this game. It's just every time I do Orb Prime, even in Legacy, for the past 3 weeks of Legacy, just like, you want to lose a game, you go take Prime. Like, that's been the theme of Orb Prime for the past few months.
It's like everyone here are Dignitas fans from League of Legends.
Why? What are they doing?
They love to throw at the Baron pit, the
equivalent.
equivalent.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
That was just what they were known for. It's just for throwing.
You see, like, okay, they're going to take... They're winning the game. Oh, don't take Baron! Don't do it! Don't take Prime. It's a bad idea. Just don't. You can win.
Yeah, please don't. You're winning.
You're winning. Don't do it. Oh, you're losing? You got nothing to lose. Go for it. Try it. Why not, right?
Yeah, no. That's usually fine in those sort of scenarios. Sort of a last-ditch effort. And they're just setting up all their waves right now. Nothing much is really happening. They're going to try and get a fight happening around this inhib. If not, they're going to retreat, go to the Orb Prime, and try bait a fight there.
They're starting to run into that inhib. Will it be taken is the question. GeronimoJak throws out an R2000 rocket to try and poke someone out, but will not apply any damage. Sergeant Floppy throws a rock, lands right at Undead Pilot's feet. Just ever so close. The minion waves are building up for Team Carbon right now. Blue minions are starting to push really hard as Team Nexus starts to fall back towards mid lane to secure those river buffs. Sergeant Floppy picking up a blue one, and It's a Ray picking up a purple one, but he is warded, so they know he's there. GeronimoJak getting caught. There's the rock and the steel ult, followed by a ray as well, and that's going to just completely wipe the rodent off the map. Ooh.
That was an incredibly large pick. They've removed the majority of the wave clear now from Carbon. That means they're going to probably try and go for this tower dive. Their minion waves going to stay alive for a lot longer now. Or they can run straight to Orb. I mean, that is also another option. They've got that pick. They don't need to force it just now. They can force. They can do a bait and force at the Orb Prime by just clearing this vision out, or they can just start it, and they're going for the bait.
Yeah, they're going to go for the bait. They're shooting the wall just in case to try and bring people closer. There is the rock. It won't land. Blood Mortius now caught 1v5. Goes for the clap, the smash and grab, and the double pain, but it's not going to be enough. So that's going to be 2 picks now as we have a killing spree on Team Nexus. They're going to ult and jump right on top of the Orb Prime. Russ just around the corner as well as Narbash. Hudzy doing his best to try and zone people off. He's taking a lot of damage in the process as Undead Pilot comes in and uses his shotgun blast. Russ just burning down his ult. Shadon following up with his own. Brings him up. Hudzy can go down, and he does to Undead Pilot. Undead Pilot now trying to fight off the steal as Rustress is fighting 1v4 against the enemy team. There goes his ultimate finally, and it does do a little bit of damage, but not enough. Rustress is going to storm the gates and get right out of there as Nerf Mundo's ultimate comes back up, and he jumps on top of the Twin Blast, followed up by Klinghoffer with the long arm of the law. And now we're turning around once again as GeronimoJak spawns to try and help out his enemy team. He's going to use the landmine to bubble them off. Meanwhile, the Carbon minions are taking towers left, right, and center on both side lanes. GeronimoJak is chasing down the enemy team, but he walks right in to Sergeant Floppy. He taking a rock to the face and going down. That's why you don't chase kills, folks. Bad idea.
They have just lost 2 of their tier 2s though, and I mean, if you're looking at the positioning for Rustress, he could have gotten a couple of more hits in that Orb Prime fight. He fell down off the ledge, wasn't able to get as many hits onto Klinghoffer as he would have liked, which kind of made that fight a little bit more awkward for him. He ended up not being able to do all the damage onto that carry, and kind of mixed bag, had to jump away instead. And I don't know, they gave up 2 tier 2 towers for that bait at Orb Prime. I don't know if that was worth it.
Yeah, I know. They do manage to get them off the Prime though, so it kind of works out a little bit.
I think it was incredibly favored for Carbon, even if they died. I mean, the card advantage you can see, Kling is sitting at 51, but Undead is only a few points behind.
Yeah, and they did actually manage to secure 2 towers out of that of the split push as well. So, you know, it's overall an even trade, but it was a good one because now they don't have jump pads on Nexus.
Yeah, they get those jump pads out of the way, which means they can rotate a little bit slower. Recalls will be a little bit slower, which is actually in favor for Carbon right now because they'd already lost most of their jump pads.
And they're now back on Prime once again. We're seeing a lot of Prime fights going on here. Sergeant Floppy goes for the rock, gets pulled in by the smash and grab to the ledge, and then brings it back. He actually managed to use the rock once again and hits Blood Mortius in the back with it. There's going to be a stun, but no follow-up onto the Grux as the teams are starting to rotate towards mid lane. Waves have been set in favor of Team Nexus, so now this is their time to shine. Maybe get that Orb Prime fight or maybe some pressure on the mid lane so the towers can take some damage in just the minute or two it takes for those minions to push up.
And we're seeing Blood change up his build a little bit on this Grux. We've got a Bane Flesh with Blood-Soaked Armor. That is a lot of different bleed stacks.
Sergeant Floppy landing the rock. There's a steal ult followed by the Kwong as well, and that's going to take Yo and Mikey off the map once again. Shadon brings in the Crash Bang Boom. Won't be enough as we do have someone go down. Steel will be the one. Shadon managed to pick up a kill on Array. Rustress loses his ultimate, but gets the slow off as he needs to. Undead Pilot following up. Shadon helps pick up a kill once again. That heal aura is coming out, and it's pretty big, but not enough to stop Sergeant Floppy from doing work and taking out the Twin Blast. Shadon trying to run away and sustain through whatever he can. There is the Bane Flesh and the Bleed Tank Buster doing its job as he gets completely sapped dry of his health. And that's going to be a 4 for 2 in favor of Carbon. Woo woo.
Carbon, incredibly well played right there. They were at a huge disadvantage, but you saw it. The second Klinghoffer went down, a lot of the damage output is gone. This is the thing. This is why mage comps have been coming in and out as well. A lot of teams run 2 or 3 mages, but because of the sheer amount of bursts in comparison to bruisers, if you can burst out a carry with like 2 mages, with like a Howitzer or a Gideon Q's, you can completely remove them from the fight for the next 20-30 seconds, and it allows you to just do so much more. In this scenario, we saw Nerf Mundo going in with that steel slam, allowed to remove Yo and Mikey from the game, but the counter engage was just as strong.
It really worked out in their favor, and I told you that health regen is huge. It saves lives. Definitely a big part of the fight now that he's actually using it when possible. Although on my screen it's bugged, so it's just always on right now.
Let me check. I don't believe. Yeah, it's on for me. I think it's a bug for everyone right now. It's just constant shading.
Yeah.
Permanent aura.
A lot of green.
It looks like he's healing everyone all the time when he's not. Again, card points, we're getting to that point where a lot of the players are going to be finishing off their builds, hitting the sort of 50 points mark, when they're going to have 6 items. They're going to be just trying to complete their more expensive 3-cost items and selling their cheaper ones and upgrading to the more expensive versions of the same cards.
Yo, I'm Mikey bringing out that Barrier of the Will on the Howitzer, so now they have 3 massive shields.
He's done that in every single game so far. He gets it at this 40 card point mark, and it's been working really well for them in their games as well.
And that's one of the reasons why he's probably been focused so hard, because the second he gets taken off the map, that's a whole shield as well as the wave clear for the team. Like that's a really big pick when he gets picked off, when he gets taken off the map. We did have a bit of an engage early on, or just over by the T1, or what was left of it, in the mid lane, but nothing really came out of it. Riverrust will be spawning shortly in a minute. Hudsy's now kind of just using his speed gate to, I think, chase after the enemy team. They might be a little caught out if they're not able to get to their tower in time. Instead, Nexus decides to jump on the jungle, when I think they could have had a fair chance of a kill.
They're just taking what they can. I mean, the chances are they would most likely land on Rustress, with both Undead and Blood being able to escape that engagement. And it looks like they're just trying to force something. They're trying to force a fight. They're trying to force a pick. And Carbon have noticed this, and they're standing back. They're like, we don't have to fight this just yet. We can just piece back, force them to go onto Orb, and we can counter-engage right now.
Those minion waves are pushing in favor of Carbon right now, and it seems like Nexus was just trying to maybe go for Prime. Not the case. Now we have Narbash running in to help out Russ, just clear out some vision as they go back to try and clear those wards out. Undead Pilot is on top of Orb Prime right now, and I don't think they actually know that he's doing this. It doesn't really seem, even if they did, there's not much they can do about it right now. Orb Prime now sitting at just a quarter health, and now getting lower than that as Yo and Mikey joins the fight to help out Undead Pilot, burst it down, and that's going to be Orb Prime picked up for absolutely free as Sergeant Floppy walks into the fight at the last moment, wrong timing, and he just gets completely bursted down. Undead Pilot using the triple shot to secure that kill on the Rampage. Frontline, be damned, is now not really existent. They lost a whole lot of their frontline in that fight right there with the Rampage being picked off.
That was a really sneaky orb by Carbon. I mean, because they didn't have vision inside the orb pit at all, so they had complete control, Carbon themselves, against Nexus, and getting that pick on Mundo, I think this is going to take it to 1-all.
This could be 1-1. As the inhibitor goes down, Itsure gets thunked and ult by Shadow, and he decides to ult way back into the minion wave, but they decide to completely ignore it. Klinghoffer now trying to get smashed and grabbed by Blood Mortius, will bounce him back way away from the core. There's the Blink Charm, but it's not the focus. The focus is the core. That's going to be game. 41 minutes, 3 seconds. We have 1-1, boys. We're going to the tiebreaker. Oh.
It looked like it was Nexus's game for a huge chunk of that. That orb right there just secured Carbon that victory. Nexus just went in one after each other, just dying one after another, didn't get a proper team fight going, and they kind of gave the game away to Carbon. Congratulations for Carbon making that 1-1.
Definitely a really fun day today. We're going to also switch over. What do you think about builds so far in that game? It's been standard builds from the past few games.
Yeah, it's been the same exact path things they've had for the past couple of games, so it's been going pretty well for both teams. I'm liking all the shield items; they're incredibly strong right now.
I do want to give Blood Mortius a shout out for the Tank Buster, the bleed, the poison and bleed, just so sexy when you get that off on the right person. They'll lose health without even knowing what's going on.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit tricky. I mean, we've been seeing target bans currently on Blood Mortius at the moment with that Sevarog every single game. I wonder if they're going to switch it up a little bit, if they're going to change up what they're going to be doing throughout the game.
I think taking Mikey off Howitzer is probably a pretty good idea.
He's been doing incredibly well as well, and
he's been focused by the enemy team and still coming out on top.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to ban out Howitzer because then you leave open so many other picks by banning out Howitzer.
Mm-hmm.
You leave out the Rampage, you leave out Steel, you leave out that the Gadget, you leave out both the carries. I mean, you have to now prioritize which way you want to pick. By banning out the Bruisers, you could pretty much guarantee what you want to pick in the first rotation.
So I guess
because you know what people's priorities are.
At that point, you're just taking the lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah, at that point, that is exactly what you're doing. You're leaving up. You're leaving them. You're taking. Mike is taking Howie, and then the other team takes Gadget, and it's kind of like a fair trade on the mid laners. The main issue is the ways people can engage and can fight, which is why you see a lot of Sevarog being banned out.
All right, so they're getting into draft